So in the first video I talked about how the use of the word meditation is misunderstood maybe and not such a good idea, and described the two worlds which make up the identity that veil the thing we call isness, the state of being, and that state of being one of innate, not happiness, but stillness, blissfulness, realizing that everything belongs in being, and there are neither good nor bad things. Things come, things go. We see that from the first world. Actions and interactions with the environment come and go. We see that with the second world. The thoughts and feelings come and go. But when you fall back into isness or unveil isness, when you're there, you don't see that coming and going. You don't see anything coming and going there. It's always there. And then how to apply that to a meditation. So to use the illusion of the first two worlds to remind you that they are an illusion and that they are pointing you back to, as long as you don't get involved in them, the isness behind everything. The problem is that we're caught up in the necessity of the first and second worlds in daily life that we forget the awareness. So the point in the process of meditation is to find a way back to unveiling awareness and creating a method that allows you to do that. So the method I was using was observe things in the first world, observe things in the second world in thought and feelings, and allow those two things to be observed from the state of awareness. And then you realize that they're happening in awareness. You can only see those things if you are aware. And if you sit in a state of awareness, those things are still going on. You can't, and you don't necessarily want to stop them. They are awareness at play. But you're no longer in them. You're no longer of them. They're events happening in awareness. And when you start paying attention to awareness itself, it's not an event. It's isness. So you're using them to trigger isness, if you like. And though that seems to be impossible to do during a normal average day of work and daily life, in exactly the same way that you used those things to trigger isness in your meditation, you can use them in your daily life. So you might be sitting at a red light, looking at the traffic, and you might be involved in the action of taking your foot slowly off the brake, putting your foot on the accelerator, getting ready to go when the light changes, etc., etc., or putting the car in gear, or in the second world thinking about, am I going to get to work on time? How long is this going to take? Look at that guy in front of me, he's not even getting ready, etc. You can get involved in those things, or you can use them as a trigger to step back into just simply being aware. And if you can do that in that situation, then you can do that in any situation. And it might not be something you can do the whole time, 24 hours a day, every single day, and every single second. But you start to practice finding moments of asking yourself, am I aware? And the trigger for am I aware is all of those things. Something happens in the environment, something happens in your mind, some emotion. Oh, I'm aware of that. And that reminds me, or that reminds you, that the thing that's observing that happening, that event arising, is awareness. It's arising in awareness. And so there you are, back, referring back to that thing. You have to refer back to something. If I ask you, are you aware of your feet? Your awareness goes to your feet and you say, yes. So if I ask you, are you aware? You refer to what exactly? You refer to awareness. You do a quick check. Am I aware? Yes. Well, you've just been there then. Now just go back there and stay there. You don't need to leave there. You don't need to leave there. I mean, there is no there. I'm using words that are always difficult. But you don't need to leave there. You don't need to leave being to come back into the first or second world. The first and second world are there as events in being. So why be in the first and second world seeking being? Why not be allowing events to occur in it? It seems like a simple idea. It's a simple idea that's so difficult, it seems, when we try to apply it. So instead of spending your time in the first and second world, or worlds, seeking awareness, spend your time in awareness, allowing events in the world to happen. There comes the peace, because those events are happening. They're just there. They're expressions of what's going on in your awareness. But you are in awareness, where nothing can be touched, where everything is still. You're not involved in those things. That sounds really difficult, and it may be at first. And it sounds sort of nihilistic in a way, to think that you spend your life in this zombie state, not partaking of the world. But you are partaking of the world, whether you like it or not. And the zombie state is not a state of emotionlessness or a state of no sensation, if you like. The state itself is a state of peace and calm. It's not peace and calm is produced in that state. That's the nature of the state. The peace and calm gets broken by resistance to it, and by the dominance of the desire for action in the first two worlds. The identity wants action. It desires things. That's why it will try to stop you meditating. I mean, this sounds like it's an extra thing trying to stop you. But when you sit and try to be still, identity will be bored very quickly. It will want to seek excitement. It will want first world and second world events to create something. And it will try to avoid being obliterated, because it itself is a creation. And so it has a propensity to avoid being obliterated. It doesn't have control in isness, in awareness. It's just an event. In isness, in a state of being, it's not obliterated, of course. It's just seen to be exactly what it is, a manifestation. a ripple in the ocean. It's not the ocean. The ocean is something entirely different. It's not the stillness. The stillness isn't something entirely different. And it can't be found from the state of the first and second worlds. It can't be seen from there. It can't be explained from there. That's why all these words are useless whenever spiritual teachers talk about how words are useless. That's what they mean. You cannot translate isness to a language that the first and second world, the identity, will understand. You can't. He who knows does not speak. He who speaks does not know. But you can point a finger to it and try to get somebody to follow. And as Buddha said, when I point to the moon, don't mistake the finger for the moon. The teachings aren't there to tell you something, they're there to point a way. And the rest of the way, you have to find yourself. And once you start to search, you realize there never was a way from here to there, because there isn't a place. There's only ever been here. And when you get there, or how long it will take, is also an illusion. It doesn't take any time at all. There is nowhere to go, no journey to go on, nowhere to be, nothing to do. You are already there. You always have been. In fact, trying to move away from it, trying to go somewhere, just moves you away. What you need to do is stop. Just stop going somewhere. And the first and second worlds take you somewhere. Stop going there. Just stop it. Stay where you are, stay still, and allow it to unveil itself. None of these things are new. There's stories and idioms of, the master martial artist. When a student comes and says, I want to learn your martial art, how long will it take me? And he says, 10 years. How long will it take me if I try really hard? 20 years. How long will it take me if I try my very, very hardest? 30 years. Effortless effort. The more effort you make, the further you are away from the point. It sounds ridiculous, but it's effortless effort. It's not trying. It's not following. It's not going somewhere. It's not wanting to be somewhere or do something. Become enlightened. And that's why meditation is maybe bad, because it's understood as a practice to get somewhere. Do something to get somewhere. I'm sitting down here to become enlightened. And neither of those things are a thing. Become enlightened. Or training in meditation. The condition is ongoing. It always has been. You're like a drop of water in the ocean, looking for the ocean. A really good place to see that is in nature. I think it's probably why we have a sort of desire to be in nature and a love of nature, because you see it, you feel it there. Things are. They don't try and be anything else. They are at their own pace. The process is just as it is, ongoing.